Hey, every time I discover a Korok while playing Zelda, I can't help but find them absolutely adorable. So I thought of making one out of clay. The cool thing about this is that I only use materials that you can get at any art supply store, so you can try making one yourself too. But let's first start by breaking down the materials I used. A wood sheet and wire fabric leaves, red, black, yellow and white clay, brown clay, a small brush, dark and light green clay, small wooden sticks better known as tooth sticks, and white glue. For making the Korok's body shape, I start by grabbing 2 small bars of brown clay and kneading them to achieve a smooth consistency. Then I do the same thing with 1 small bar of white clay. After both colors are smooth enough, I blend them. The combination of these colors may vary depending on what color for the Korok you want to achieve. In my case, I want my Korok to be light brown. For the Korok's shape, I'll use this previously blended clay. I now begin shaping the clay to match the Korok shape. And once the shape is formed, I carefully split the toothpick in half and insert both halves on either side of the shape to model the Korok's arms. Following that, I do the same thing with the Korok's ears. I'm not really sure what are those. I guess they are more like tree branches. After I have sticked the toothpicks onto the Korok's body, I cover the ears with the same clay from it. This also helps me to add more detail to the ears. And now the toothpicks are really thin, so I can add slightly more clay so the shape of the ears can look a bit thicker. I forgot to make the legs, so I insert 2 halves of toothpicks on the clay. Then, I cover both arms' toothpicks with some clay to sculpt the arms. By the way, for the arms the clay is not taken from the body. As for the legs, I did use clay from it. I don't know if you have noticed this, but Koroks do have a small belly. So I will attach a small clay sphere to the lower half of its figure. After doing this, I incorporate it to the body so it looks more natural. But we are forgetting something. Koroks also have some darker colored stripes on their body's base color, so I will add them. To do this, I rub a thin and stretched slice of only brown clay around the Korok's body. Then I gently press it against the figure with my fingertips. This is because we want the stripes to be blended over the base color. I will keep repeating the same process until the entire body is covered with stripes. Let's now begin to work on the mask. For this Korok in particular, I am planning to make a 4-leaf clover mask. To make the clover leaves, I will grab 2 small pieces of dark green clay and turn them into spheres. Then, I will press them against the surface with my fingertips. After attaching them, I will do the same thing with 2 smaller pieces. Now we can attach the 4 shapes all together. Then I'll press a tiny piece of clay in the middle of the mask just for it to be more stable. I'll repeat the exact same process with light green clay. This will now go on the dark green clay leaves. Korok's mask leaves have just as many details as a real life leaf, so I will attach a midrib for each leaf by adding a really thin and small slice of yellow clay on its surface. Next, I'll draw some veins to each leaf by gently pressing a toothpick on the leaf surface. Now, I sculpt the mask eyes. The eyes are really small pieces of black clay. I add them to the surface of the leaf with the help of a toothpick. I also include the mask's nose and mouth. The nose is a really small sphere of grey clay. Let's now attach the mask to the Korok's body. Since the mask is positioned on the upper half of the figure, I split one toothpick in half and stick one of the halves in the upper portion of it. Afterward, I carefully stick the other side of the toothpick into the back of the mask. Okay, our Korok sculpture is ready, but now we must seal it, so it can gain a shinier and smoother appearance. This will also help us to protect it against damage. This is a very simple process, since all we need to do is to cover the figure with white glue. I start with the body, and then I cover the mask with glue. It's really important to also cover the difficult to reach areas within the sculpture. Then, I wait until the figure fully dries, and then I repeat this same process all over again. This is for adding some sort of double protection to it. Some Koroks hold wooden branches, so I thought that maybe our Korok friend would like to have one of them too. To make a branch, I fully cover a toothpick with brown clay, and then I remove the excess clay from it. Following that, I split another toothpick in half so I can attach one of the halves to the previously sculpted tree branch so it looks like a branch twig. After I have attached the twig, I also cover it with clay. Once the branch is fully covered with clay, I use a toothpick to draw a wooden bark pattern on it. This will add a more realistic texture to the branch. But our branches need more life and colors, so I have prepared 2 small slices of red clay and some small fabric leaves. Afterwards, with my fingers, I shape the red clay slices so they are turned into spheres. They now look like fruit from the branches. I'll also apply some glue to the branches so I can adhere the leaves and fruit to them. I decided to make a second branch, so after the 2 are ready, I also seal them with glue. While our Korok and branches are drying, let's make a forest scenery. I'll begin by covering the wood sheet with a layer of light green clay, using my fingertips to press and move them horizontally, creating an organic texture. After it is fully covered, I do the same thing but this time with dark green clay. We have now achieved a really nice pattern. I create some grass tufts with green clay. I adhere 4 big fabric leaves to the wood sheet so they look like a big plant. They kind of resemble to a growing of time soft soil plants. Afterwards, I seal the scenery with glue, and after some adjustments, the scenery is now ready. To achieve this result, all I did was to glue some fabric plants and flowers on the wood sheet. I also used some real dried leaves. This is how our Korok and scenery look after fully drying. But to enhance stability and appeal of our scenery, we will incorporate a small rock into it. Since our Korok figure might be slightly heavy, positioning the rock behind it will provide support and create the illusion of the figure standing upright. I know, this is kind of like cheating. I add some glue to the Korok's legs and then I adhere the figure in front of the rock. And we're done. Let's check the final result. And that's the end of the video. Thank you so much guys for joining me on this creative journey. Also, if you have more creative ideas, let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you can never miss any upload. Until next time.